right, I'm at the 2019 Wild Sheep Show. Is that what it's called? The Wild Sheep
Wild
Show?
Sheep.
I think so.
Wild Sheep. I want to make sure
Wild
I get that
Sheep
part right.
Exposition.
Sheep Show 2019.
2019. We're at the Axial Precision booth. I've had their 300 Ultra for a couple weeks. These guys make stocks in-house. They make actions in-house. Marc's here to tell us why they're different from any other manufacturer that's here.
So when we started dealing with our development issues, about 7 years ago, we decided to address some problems that we thought were limited in their address in other actions. So we took a lot of actions apart, made some plus minuses, just talked through what we were seeing as positives and negatives, and we wanted to address as many of the deficiencies that we were seeing in the industry, just limited manufacturing techniques, and so when we started, we wanted to have a certain goal in mind. We wanted to have the bench rest accuracy with the field reliability that would handle dust, debris, harsh conditions, mud, snow, ice. And so we wanted to build an action that could handle all of that, but still had the tolerance base to run those tight groups that we were seeing out of bench rest guns. So we put an action together. We obviously wanted to have a single piece bolt. We didn't want there to be any welds or soldering marks or anything like that. We didn't want to have timing issues. So everything that you see here is built out of a single piece of steel. We went with twin ejectors to make sure you had a redundancy for that shell ejection. Nice big M16 extractor, mini M16 extractor. You grab that case and pull it out of there under the worst conditions. We have an asymmetrical receiver that basically has a longer axis and a shorter axis inside that cylinder. And what it is as you're moving that bolt forward and you're out of battery, you're in that long axis. As you close that bolt, you'll see that you're now fully supported in the short axis of the action. So when we did that, that gave us that tolerance base of like the really high-end Nasika bays and some of those other actions that guys are using on bench rest. But when we break out of that battery, we're coming into our open tolerances and you get that debris clearance. So all that brass fragments, all that dust and debris that might be in there comes out. When we wound up attaching our barrels to our action, we added 2 additional step tenons. Instead of just butting up 2 90-degree pieces of metal and sucking it together real hard with 80 foot-pounds on your threads, we went with 2 additional surfaces that are slip fit into that action. And as you rotate that in there and you slide that together, you wind up seeing how tight the machining tolerance is in with our CNC machining processes. But once you hit that bottom area and you twist that, I can turn that with 2 fingers and you won't be able to break it apart with hand tension. So if I take that now and try and crack that loose, I'll have to have tools to break that free. And actually I usually have Drew to break that free. And so that was part of the action design. When we built that stock, we took a stock design that we thought would handle the best recoil and the lightest platform with all the stability we needed internally to handle recoil from everything up to the 338 edge, the big 30 338s. And so what we did was we took a stock, we brought the recoil line up above the heel up here, so we have this negative drop comb. The recoil signature of the rifle comes through right here at the butt pad. So as you're getting driven by that recoil, it comes straight back into your body instead of climbing up over your shoulder. That was a big portion of just managing the recoil in the whole system. We also took and sunk the heel in, so you can see how this is sunk in more on this side of the stock than the other. That keeps your wrist nice and straight. Puts your heel down, you have that nice straight recoil line that's a little bit better support. It keeps that thumb in a proper shooting position on the rifle. What we did with that also is we dropped the trigger or the pistol grip back so that your finger hits that trigger on the break point, that first joint, just like it's supposed to. So when you handle this rifle, it actually fits your hand just like it's supposed to in a proper shooting form. Of course, 4 layers of carbon in the middle, 2 on the outside. We have our 4 layers all the way across.
5 in the middle, 4 on the outside.
Okay, so as we break down,
You're
start over.
Dude, you're great.
So as we go into this, when we lay this up in our carbon, we load 5 layers of carbon. We have 5 in the middle and the 4th on the outside. So we have the two that extend up to about here and go forward, and then there's a 5th layer in the middle. That gives us the rigidity and the strength, so you don't get the flex around the cartridge well. A lot of stocks ignore this area because this is one of your weak points. You have your recoil surface up front, and you want to make sure that this is rigid in here. That's why that 5th layer of carbon. Again, the design of this was meant for recoil reduction management. making it so that you can shoot downhill, uphill, and prone without that stock slipping below your armpit and stabbing you in the eye with the scope. There was just practicality. We didn't actually intend for it to look as good as it does, but with the hand-laid carbon, of course, you're basically looking at a Ferrari's hood. I mean, that's how much detail went inside this. So when we lay this up, it's not like we inject anything or flock any carbon fiber and then coat it with something. What you're seeing is the actual carbon material on the outside. You really do have to check with your builder to make sure that you're getting what you pay for. When they say it's a carbon fiber stock, that could mean that there's just flocking in there that's 3/8 inches and it's in a matrix of suspended material. Again, with the smooth action function, even our long actions run at the same smooth rate. Everything is timed in machining instead of soldered afterwards. And with our Trigger Tech triggers that we're running right now, we just love everything about how the package came together. We guarantee half-minute accuracy because of the machining we do. That's with factory ammo. If you're shooting stuff that we recommend, like even the factory ammo we recommend, you're more than likely shooting inside bore diameter with our platform.